Great, thank you. Um, Question number 9. Okay. And all questions discussed का मतलब ये बाकी है या नहीं है? Some of you are confusing me. Right? Except this one, whichever I gave was, so I think 9.5 and 12 बाकी है. Okay, thanks. Thank you. Cool. Um, Thank you. Thanks. अब 9 में क्या होएगा? तो 9 question number 9 can be um, so एक तो we can either just calculate this path length. ठीक है? So to find the path length, you may have to apply Pythagoras theorem. This is going to be 2 lambda, so you can apply Pythagoras theorem. 2.5 and 2.5 आके इसका path length 5 lambda आ जाएगा. Bearing in mind that there is a reflection over here, okay, and that's reflection from a denser medium, from a mirror, in fact. So you'll have to add an extra lambda by 2 because of that before you find the phase difference. One thing you can also do is, another way of doing this is basically ye length, if I'll just zoom in a little bit, okay, that's better. Basically path difference ये तो 4 lambda है, और मुझे दूसरा पाथ ये दिख रहा है, ये पाथ का लेंथ निकालने के लिए another thing I could have done is I could take the mirror image of the source. So when I take the mirror image of the source, what basically happens is then this becomes a straight line, है ना? ये एक straight line path की तरह हो जाता है, and this length and this length are the same. Yeah, this length and this length are the same. So I can then see here, this is 1.5 lambda, this is 1.5 lambda. So this entire length is therefore 3 lambda. This is 4 lambda. Therefore, S1 dash to P, this length is 5 lambda. And because this and this are the same, so this length is also 5 lambda. So that's how we get कि ये दूसरे path का length, geometric length is 5 lambda. So either you could use this slightly imaginative method, or you could have also, if you didn't want to use mirror images, you could have just said how this is, by the laws of reflection, this is an isosceles triangle, and because of symmetry, this is 2 lambda and that is 2 lambda, and then this 2 and 1.5 make this 2.5 lambda by Pythagoras theorem, and that also becomes 2.5 lambda by Pythagoras theorem. Either way, I think you should not have any difficulty in finding the path length S1 to the mirror to P as 5 lambda. On top of that, यहाँ पे there is a reflection. Okay, so this lower ray is undergoing reflection. Because of the reflection from a rigid end, it gets, remember, rigid end is like a wall. Light behaves like a transverse wave only. Okay, so this should get an extra lambda by 2 because of a sudden inversion caused due to reflection from a mirror, which is like a denser medium. So एक extra lambda by 2 गिनना है. तो delta x निकालते वक्त इस पाथ के लिए हम 5 lambda plus lambda by 2 लेंगे, उस पाथ के लिए हम 4 lambda लेंगे. That makes our path difference 5 lambda plus lambda by 2 minus 4 lambda, which makes it 3 lambda by 2. And I'm sure some of us could have gotten slightly different answers based on whether we added lambda by 2 or subtracted, है ना? And whether you performed lower minus upper like I did, or upper minus lower. But either way, what you should have got is some odd multiple of lambda by 2, either 3 lambda by 2 or lambda by 2 or minus lambda by 2, but basically some odd multiple of lambda by 2. That's our path difference. Accordingly, yeah, minus 3 lambda by 2 perfectly acceptable. minus 3 lambda by 2 मतलब तुमने same चीज किया है, पर तुमने upper minus lower किया है, बिल्कुल. That also implies the same thing. So in fact, although I asked delta phi over here, what I mainly meant to ask is the nature of the interference. And even in exams, you'll actually be asked the nature of the interference, because delta x strictly, if you speaking, people could get different answers. based on what they consider this reflection as, people could get different answers, but they would all mean the same. It's just like saying 360 degrees and 720 degrees and 0 degrees are all the same, right? So it's just different points of view. So delta x, जैसे मेरे इस method से 3 lambda by 2 आ रहा है, and you should have got any odd multiple of lambda by 2 as such. Phase difference is 2 pi by lambda into delta x. Okay, but in short, what that basically means is lambda काट के 2 pi डाल दो, lambda हटा के 2 pi डाल दो. So 3 lambda by 2 का phase difference is actually 3 by 2, 2 pi. 3 by 2 into 2 pi is 3 pi. And I'm sure if you guys would have done something else, you probably would have gotten pi. You probably would have gotten minus 3 pi or minus pi. Negative आता था अगर तुम upper minus lower करते थे. But all those answers, you need to check that they were odd multiples of pi, and they all mean the same thing. So you are right if you got an odd multiple of pi, because ultimately our final answer for the type of interference it is, it's a destructive interference. Okay. Same question sound में होता, ये destructive होता ही नहीं, क्योंकि हम ये lambda by 2 लेते नहीं. तो lambda by 2 पूरा फर्क लेके आता है. Path difference lambda था, but वो reflection के कारण it became 1.5 lambda, which resulted in destructive interference. Okay, hope you guys got that. If there's any doubt, let me know. Any confusion? भाई भाई तुम्हारा केमिस्ट्री में क्या सीन है? लाइक कहाँ तक केमिस्ट्री कहाँ तक पहुंच गया? This is out of curiosity. Electrochemistry, so that's physical. And what about the other track? Organic? Alkyl halides. Okay. केमिस्ट्री में 3 ट्रैक है. ओके. अल्कोहल स्टार्ट हो गया. इनऑर्गेनिक में कोऑर्डिनेशन स्टार्ट हो गया. तो yes Sahil, yes odd multiples of pi में destructive interference होगा. yes. Did I like? I loved chem is very logical, and I don't know if I've told you this, my highest score in my JEE exam was chemistry. My JEE exam I got 123 out of 132, so I got one question wrong and one unattempted. And this is like, the exam paper is for 6 hours, right? So 3 hours and 3 hours, roughly you'll give on average 2 hours per subject, but this score was giving a total of 40 minutes to chemistry. Chemistry I took the least time and got the most, and maths I gave the most time, 3 hours, and mar ke I reached 92 in maths out of 130. 20 minutes a paper, that's. But why am I teaching? I forgot all of chemistry by the time I passed out of IIT. That's the thing of physics. Physics is so logical. I mean, once you get it for life. So you never forget. You never forget physics. IIT, I'm from IIT Bombay. I didn't forget. So in fact, after I came out of IIT Bombay, I started with physics because I didn't even need to revise physics as such. Sab yaad tha. But then after I left my first job, which was in Bakliwal, I took a break and I was like, chalo, I am going to study chemistry. Mere ko bahut pasand hai chemistry. I'll study it. But it's just so overwhelming to, go through all of that again, because I had forgotten everything. So then I was like, chalo, leave it. I need to earn money. So came back. But I like physics as well. Physics also very logical. And just take before proceeding, before I liked everything in chem. Everything was good. Everything was good. Physical and organic were the best. They are the most logical. Inorganic थोड़ा रटना होता है, but वो भी मतलब it was fun. But just to say this, just to tell you one big secret of mine. One big secret of mine. Me and two of my friends. Once our syllabus was over, we had a lot of papers. Okay, Fiji ke papers se tabhi. Now you have almost every institute has their own test series. But basically, what we would do, we would take all our papers, जो भी था 3 hours paper 1 paper 2, जो भी 3 hour का paper था, we would split it into 2 parts. और हम for the last 3-4 months we just gave tests where physics chemistry we would only do in 1.5 hours and maths we would only do in 1 hour, and that was it. We would imagine our score is based on, I mean, is whatever we get out of this. So we trained, like we just trained ourselves कि हम 1.5 hours में physics and chem का combo करेंगे and 1 hour में maths का combo maths करेंगे, and that's how we gave all our practice papers. And in the end the JEE exam also went exactly like that, like clockwork. 1 hour, a little bit over an hour, because I was confident कि 1 hour के end में जो थोड़ा question था physics का वो भी हो रहा था, so I just stretched a little bit beyond 1 hour. But then around 1 hour 5 minutes or so, I stopped physics, or I was done with physics. I moved on to chem, finished that in 20 minutes. So that 1.5 hours ka, and then jo thoda baki tha went back to physics. So 1.5 hours I summed up my physics, and then I just slogged it out in maths. 1 hour में जितना हुआ, फिर हो सकता है थोड़ा एक और 5 मिनट physics का कुछ किया, but then most of the time was maths. So you have to, of course, majority of the exam is knowledge based, but then I would say, there are so many smart kids in the country, and a lot of people get physics, chem, and maths. For you to get an extra edge over people who could score as well as you, to get that extra edge, it's also strategy. So you have to work under a nice time constraint. And I can say this, 3 months before the exam, every paper I was giving was not for 3 hours, was for 2.5 hours. And they were good level papers. They were Fiji papers. People used to cry to solve those papers at that time. They used to say it's very tough, but you really, if you work hard and you understand your concepts, you won't find a lot of these stuff. Sometimes papers are tough, but you have to just play with the hand given to you. You have to somehow work it out with that time constraint. ठीक है, तो थोड़ा एक ट्रिक है, एक बार बाद में once the syllabus is over, you can remember that and practice that. All right. One of you is saying, sir, I'm trying to focus more on calculus and conics and less in algebra and trig. I don't know if I mean, you need to check with your maths teacher if that's right. But I can definitely say focus on conics, because conics is not lateral thinking. There are 2 types of thinking. One is logical thinking and the other is lateral thinking. Lateral is alag se sochna. So maths involves a lot of lateral thinking. Conics does not. Conics is logical. So if you really work hard in conics, you can more or less solve everything in conics. You can't guarantee the same for integration or for trigonometry, maybe certain parts of algebra, but conics especially is the most logical. Even vectors is the most logical. So work hard in those sections definitely. And baki ek decent level hona chahiye. Okay, quickly moving on to 12. Find I resultant when 2 waves each of intensity I naught with the path difference of delta x interfere. Okay, with the path difference of delta x interfere such that delta x is this. So in sare cases mein I nikalna tha. We can review our formula. I hope you guys were able to do this. Resultant intensity is 4 I naught cos square phase difference by 2. That's a formula, an important one. This is the intensity when you have two sources of the same intensity or two waves of the same intensity, each of intensity I naught, two waves each of intensity I naught, if they interfere, ऐसा resultant होता है. जो उनके बीच में फेज डिफरेंस होता है उसके हिसाब से ये फॉर्मूला आता है ना. तो 4I0 cos square delta phi by 2, we have derived that. अब delta phi is 2 pi by lambda delta x. Delta phi is 2 pi by lambda delta x. Sorry, delta phi is 2 pi by lambda delta x. So plug that in. 2 pi by lambda delta x is delta phi divided by 2. When you divide by 2, 2 कट जाता है. So 4I0 cos square pi by lambda delta x is our resultant intensity. Now just plug in different values of delta x. You can see when we plug in delta x is 0. We know cos 0 is 1. So 4I0 cos square 0 becomes 4I0. ये expected था. Delta x 0 मतलब constructive interference. Cos square का max value चला जाएगा इसमें, which is 1. Okay, so the max intensity you get is 4I0. Okay, in YDSC, your bright fringes ka intensity is 4 times I0. If I0 is the intensity coming from one slit or each slit, then max intensity 2 नहीं होता है, 4 times होता है. Electric field का amplitude double होता है, intensity उसके square के proportional 4 times हो जाता है. ठीक है, so max intensity is 4 when two equal intensity waves combine. Then next is delta x is lambda by 6. You can plug in the values. Lambda by 6, this makes it cos square pi by 6. Cos pi by 6 is root 3 by 2. Uska square is 3 by 4. So that into 4I0 is 3I0. The next one is lambda by 4. Same formula, 4I0 cos square delta x ke jagah lambda by 4. So cos square pi by 4. Cos pi by 4 is 1 by root 2. Uska square is 1 by 2. So this becomes 2I0. So you can see ki how as I start increasing my path difference from 0, and I'm going to go all the way to lambda by 2, you can see how the intensity is going to start to decrease and decrease and decrease. When my path difference is lambda by 3, lambda कटेगा, pi by 3 रह जाएगा, cos pi by 3, cos 60 is half, तो उसका square is 1/4, तो ये हो जाएगा I0, same as the intensity due to the slits. Electric fields add करोगे तो इसमें equilateral triangle बनेगा, है ना, when two vectors with an angle of 120 between them. Delta phi actually 2 pi by 3 है. So when two vectors with an angle of 120 between them add, you get the same resultant has the same magnitude as those vectors, two equal vectors. तो वैसे ही हो रहा है यहाँ पे, मतलब when delta x is lambda by 3, lambda is like 2 pi. So when phase difference is 2 pi by 3, your resultant intensity is again I0. Or you can just simply see it from the formula. But the last one, the important one, when delta x is lambda by 2, lambda by 2, again ये हो जाता है 4I0 cos square pi by 2. Cos pi by 2 is 0, so you get 0 expected था because lambda by 2 is corresponding to a destructive interference. And destructive interference means the minimum intensity you can get is 0 when two waves of the same intensity combine. Because तब destructive में electric field की amplitude subtract हो रहा है, दोनों बराबर है तो subtract हो के 0 रह जाता है, right? So you can see कैसे delta x जब 0 से lambda by 2 जाता है, how my intensity drops from 4I0 to 0. ये bright fringe पे, ये dark fringe पे. And just for you to see, you don't need to memorize anything over here, but I'm just showing you कहाँ पे 3 times, कहाँ पे 2 times, कहाँ पे 1 time दिखता है. Okay. All right. All clear? Anything else? Any other doubt? Anyone wants me to wait on this page? Let me know. Nobody seems to be saying wait. I believe in the last class I showed थोड़ा time there and showing you a demonstration of the YDSC on the website. उसके बाद I believe we read this page, and I don't think we went beyond this page, right? I just asked you to finish writing this page, and I just said ki assuming so what we're going to try and do is at this we're going to try and find the path difference at that point. Clearly, as light travels from these slits and reaches that point, clearly it's traveling through different lengths. Clearly XL XU are not the same. So because their lengths are different, there is going to be a path difference, and our objective is trying to find that path difference. Okay, how do we find that path difference? In order to do that, we're going to make first our life a little easy. So one of the assumptions we'll make is we're going to normally assume that the screen is kept far off and the slits are close by. So capital D is big, small d is small in comparison. Y is also small in comparison. So the points I'm considering on the screen, they are not that far off from capital D, from this center line. Okay, so the Y is going to be in the order of millimeters normally. Capital D may be in the order of meters. So theta as such is going to be a small angle. And what I said in the last class was, based on that, and because D is small, I think the main reason was because D is small, we can say ki XL and XU also make an angle theta with the horizontal. XL and XU also make an angle theta with the horizontal, right? And I hope that made sense. I mean, if D is small, so it's almost as if these three rays are going to be parallel to each other, almost. So they start from points very close to each other and they meet somewhere far off. That means they are they are nearly parallel. Okay? They are almost making the same angle with the horizontal, right? On the other hand, if D was big, small d was big, and they met at a point close by, clearly you can say the lines are not parallel, right? But if they start from somewhere very close to each other and they're meeting at a far off point, that means these lines are decently parallel to each other, almost parallel to each other. So therefore, on that note, these angles, the angle that XL and XU make with the horizontal is again theta. And that is one simplification we are going to use to solve further. Now, I believe we guys finished writing this page in the previous class, and I don't think I've taught page 14. So let's move on to page 14. Right? Now, they go. How do we extend the idea further? Sorry. So यहाँ पे थोड़ा I'll zoom in on my diagram first. So if you can see carefully, I have labeled this angle as theta based on what I spoke in the previous page. कि XL भी theta roughly बनाता है horizontal के साथ, जैसा ये middle line theta बनाता है horizontal के साथ. ठीक है, XL भी theta बनाता है horizontal के साथ. अगर वो theta है तो सिंपल ट्रिग्नोमेट्री से तुम्हें दिखेगा. इसके लिए थोड़ा और जूम कर लेता हूं. अगर ये थीटा है तो ये वाला एंगल 90 डिग्रीज माइनस थीटा होगा, बिकॉज वो इसके कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री है, राइट? दीज एड अप टू अ राइट एंगल ट्रायंगल. So that other purple angle is 90 minus theta. Then the next thing you can also say is, okay, what is this line? Before proceeding further, chalo, we know this is 90 minus theta, but what is this green line I've drawn? So imagine this. If I give you two random lines like this, and I ask you to find the difference in the length of these two lines, imagine they are the hands of a clock, right? Find the difference in their lengths. So of course, what you could try and do is you could try and bring the right hand of the clock like this, and then you can nicely see the difference in their lengths. Okay? Or another thing you could do is, geometrically, what we can do is we can draw a circle of radius equal to the shorter hand. Because when we draw a circle of that radius, then ये जितने portion से circle के बाहर जा रहा है, उतना रहेगा उनके बीच में difference. Right? That's a very simple, primitive geometrical idea to find the difference in the lengths of two lines meeting at a point. right? You'll have to draw a circle with radius equal to the smaller line so that you can find the difference in their lengths. That's exactly what we are trying to do over here. मुझे ये दो लाइन एक्सएल और एक्सयू के बीच में डिस्टेंस या इनके लेंथ के बीच में सॉरी डिफरेंस चाहिए था. एक्सएल एंड एक्सयू लेंथ के बीच में डिफरेंस चाहिए था. तो व्हाट आई डिड, I since they met at this point, I drew a circular arc like this. Circular arc का radius क्या है, XU है. वो circular arc draw करके I'm going to try and see कि ये XL कितना बार जाता है outside the circle. तो XL कितना extra distance जा रहा है circle के बाहर वो देखने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. Because that distance जितने से XL बाहर जा रहा है, that's going to tell me how much longer is XL in comparison to XU. L for lower, U for upper. Okay. How much longer is the lower ray in comparison to the upper ray. तो ऐसा mentally हम एक circle बना रहे हैं. ठीक है. तो obviously वो पूरा circle बनाने की जगह what you see over here, this green portion is that circular arc. The reason this doesn't look curved is because this is a very small angle. Had the angle been big, it would have been a nice curvy arc, but this angle is so small that this arc looks straight, and I'm sure you can visualize that. Moreover, because this is a circular arc and these are behaving as the radius, the angle between the arc and the radius, or the tangent and the radius, is 90. So that angle that the green vector is making with these two lines is approximately 90. Okay? And you may feel, अरे कैसे हो सकता है? That's just because I've not, ये थोड़ा बड़ा diagram, मतलब diagram is not to scale. Technically, these lines are almost parallel because the screen is far away. So if they are almost parallel, it will help you understand why one is 90 and the other is 90. Now, ठीक है? अब ये सब करने के बाद ये है कितना ये extra length. तो उसके लिए दोबारा एक बार zoom in कर लेते हैं. Where I left you off was, I said this was 90 minus theta. I just established why this is 90, proving that this is therefore a right angled triangle. So because that's a right angled triangle, we get this other angle also as theta. Once you get that angle as theta, this is D, that is theta. So the component opposite theta is D sine theta. So this pink component over here, this one is D sine theta. And ultimately, if you can see, it is this which is actually the path difference. Itna extra portion XL chal raha hai because baki to same hai. This is our circular arc, if you remember. So that's a bad circle, but ये बाकी portion same है. इतना D sin theta portion extra XL चल रहा है, lower ray चल रहा है. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to now, as I find my path difference, I'm going to be very specific and I'm going to keep track of the lower ray ka distance minus the upper ray ka distance. Lower ray ka minus upper ray ka. I'm going to be very careful about that. Okay? And you will see why aage, why we need to remember what we're doing. So lower ray minus upper ray is D sin theta. Lower ray कितना extra travel कर रहा है? D sin theta. So delta x, XL minus XU is D sin theta. The next simplification we're going to use is, we're going to say theta is very small. So this is where that point comes in, जो मैं actually पहले बोला था कि screen का size भी छोटा होता है and we are considering fringes close to the center. This is of the order of millimeters. This is of the order of meters. So because y by d is small, this angle is technically quite small. Okay, so because theta is small, we get to say sine theta is approximately tan theta, and tan theta is the tan theta is of course y by d, y by capital D, y by capital D. Therefore, sine theta is y by capital D. Okay, so sine theta is y by capital D. There's another important step. So d sine theta के जगह dy by capital D आ जाएगा अपना path difference. This is delta x. This is XL minus XU. This is one of the most important relations, most important derivations in this chapter. Make sure you're getting the derivation. Okay? This concept is everything. So delta x is dy by capital D. Okay? इतना path difference आ रहा है. And remember that this is how much the lower ray travels extra. This will work in all situations. If you consider a point above the axis, y will be positive, delta x will be positive, and it makes sense because for a point above the axis, lower ray anyways travels more. It's anyways the longer line. So xl minus xu should be positive. On the other hand, if you consider a point below the axis, notice how the formula is still valid. If you consider a point below the axis, y will be negative. By the formula, delta x will be negative, which will imply xl minus xu is negative, which absolutely makes sense because this time xu will be the longer line. So saying xl minus xu is absolutely correct. Sorry, saying xl minus xu is negative is absolutely correct for a point below the axis. All right. So therefore, ये जो formula है dy by capital D. Okay, I try to say capital D whenever I talk about capital D. So dy by capital D, that formula is always consistent. And remember, it is xl minus xu, not xu minus xl. Okay, because if you're talking about xu minus xl, if you say xu minus xl is like this, you'll have to take the y-axis as positive in the downward direction. And I know you guys are not going to do that, right? You're going to, you won't do that. I mean, who would do that? Ulta sochna ho gaya. So best way is take y-axis as positive in the upward direction. But remember that जो भी ये formula तुम याद करोगे, that is x lower minus x upper. Okay, that's how the formula fits. That's what we have derived in fact. Now, for constructive interference, कहाँ पे constructive interference होगा? तो हर जगह पे होगा जहाँ पे, अच्छा एक और बार, if theta छोटा है तो sin theta tan theta approximately same होता है ना? You know that that simple rule when theta tends to 0, sin theta, tan theta, and theta are all almost the same. Great. So tan theta is actually exactly y by capital D. So I've used that approximation to say sin theta is y by capital D, and y by capital D को उठा के इधर substitute किया. That is it. That's all I've done. So now path difference in reaching this y coordinate is this. So I now know the path difference for any point on the screen. बस उस स्क्रीन का y को उस पॉइंट का y कोऑर्डिनेट डाल दो. स्मॉल d कैपिटल D आर कांस्टेंट्स, पता होता है. स्क्रीन जो पॉइंट ऑन द स्क्रीन है उसका कोऑर्डिनेट डाल दो, तो वहां पे लाइट पहुंचते पहुंचते उसका क्या पाथ डिफरेंस है वो पता चलेगा. नाउ अगर कंस्ट्रक्टिव इंटरफेरेंस कोई भी पॉइंट पे चाहिए तो लाइट वहां पहुंचते पहुंचते वहां पे पाथ डिफरेंस एक इंटीग्रल मल्टीपल ऑफ लैम्डा होना पड़ेगा. So delta x should be n lambda, but delta x is dy by capital D, implying that y is n capital D lambda by small d, where n can be any integral multiple, right? So n can be like, it can be any integer. It should be 0, plus, minus 1, plus, minus 2. All of this is acceptable. So y equal to 0, take constructive interference, no surprise. By symmetry, there is no path difference at y equal to 0. Then y equal to plus minus d lambda by d, plus minus 2d lambda by d, plus minus 3d lambda by d. इन सारे points पे constructive interference होगा. Destructive कहाँ पे होगा? जहाँ पे path difference एक odd multiple of lambda by 2 है, यार जहाँ पे path difference some number 0.5 lambda है, n.5 lambda, I like writing in that way. So delta x जहाँ पे n.5 lambda होगा वहाँ पे destructive interference होगा. Delta x is dy by capital D. What does this give us y as? So y should be of the type n.5 d lambda by d. Notice n d lambda by d is for constructive, n.5 d lambda by d is for destructive. n.5 matlab, what does that represent? All numbers of the type something 0.5. Matlab it could be plus minus 0.5, plus minus 1.5, plus minus 2.5. So exactly between two constructive interference fringes, you have the dark fringes. So exactly between 0 and 1 d lambda by d, you have 0.5 d lambda by d. Exactly between 1 and 2, you have 1.5. So exactly between two bright fringes, you have dark fringes. Okay. All fringes ka spacing is even, as we saw in the demonstration as well. So copy this page, we'll continue. Angles in the diagram, ये वाला थीटा है, तो ये भी थीटा है. एक्सेल वाला लाइन विद द हॉरिजॉन्टल इज थीटा. वहां से आएगा कि थोड़ा जूम इन कर देता हूँ, ये थीटा है, ये 90 माइनस थीटा है, वो 90 माइनस थीटा है, तो फिर ये दोबारा थीटा है. So D is like the hypotenuse, and then this is the side opposite theta. So this component, this pink line that I've, a thick pink line that I've drawn, उसका लेंथ हो जाता है D sin theta. बहुत important है वो समझना. I hope you guys got that. Got it? Okay. Anyone wants me to wait on this page? No? Okay. Cool. Fringe width. Okay, so what is fringe width? So fringe width is the width of the fringe. We already, remember if you saw the demonstration, we had seen what fringe width was. From one bright fringe to another bright fringe. Now we had light के fringes like this. And हमने fringe width कैसे calculate किया था? एक bright fringe के बीच से दूसरे bright fringe के बीच तक. So like from one maxima to another maxima, that's our fringe width. And you could do the same for dark fringes as well. They're all equally spaced. But if I were to use this idea, and if I were to consider, like say the nth bright fringe, which would be nd lambda by d, and the n plus 1th, the next bright fringe, which would be at n plus 1 d lambda by d. Don't worry about the nomenclature, as I have just temporarily made this up. So just the nth bright fringe and n plus 1th bright fringe के y coordinates के बीच में अगर तुम distance देखोगे, तो n plus 1th maxima यहाँ पे होगा n plus 1 d lambda by d पे, nth maxima यहाँ पे होगा n d lambda by d पे, और उनके बीच में distance, दूरी, if you subtract, you will get d lambda by d. Okay, you could derive the same using minimas as well. Okay, whatever be the case, you'll find that all maximas and minimas are spread out by a distance of d lambda by d between them. So d lambda by d is what we define as the fringe width. Iska definition page 13 pe diya tha. Distance between two maximas. That's your fringe width. Now, based on that, if you remember W as capital D lambda by small d, you can notice that your bright fringes are formed at what values? It's formed at y equal to 0, y equal to plus minus w, plus minus 2w, and so on and so forth. So in values pe bright fringes are formed. Dark fringes accordingly कहाँ पे बना था? Plus minus 0.5 d lambda by d. मैंने actually d lambda by d को w से replace किया. Dark fringes were formed at plus minus 0.5 d lambda by d, मतलब plus minus 0.5 fringe width. Next is plus minus 1.5 fringe width. So on the following page, I have a diagram showing how this may look on a screen. In a sense, how wide, how your bright fringes, where your bright fringes are, where your dark fringes are, and what fringe width is. So all that will be seen on the next page in a diagram as well. But over here, I'm just trying to point, point one thing out. ये जो fringe जहाँ पे y 0 होता है, that particular fringe is called as the central maxima. Okay, now central maxima, it's called in this manner, but don't assume कि central maxima is always going to be at y equal to 0. In fact, that is not the definition of central maxima. Central maxima is not the maxima जहाँ पे is not a maxima closest to the center. That's not the definition. In this case, it's exactly at the center, and by center I mean y equal to 0. In this case, it's exactly at the center of the screen. But in general, central maxima का definition होता है the maxima जहाँ पे path difference is 0. Maxima जहाँ पे path difference is 0. Now, if you're wondering कि अरे path difference 0 तो वही पे होगा ना, screen के center पे होगा, because by symmetry these lengths are the same. So you're probably just imagining what a simple YDSC experiment looks like. When we put a few variations, when we insert slabs, accordingly these path differences are going to change. So then you may find कि exactly at the center of the screen, yes, that could also be a variation, though we don't do that. We don't normally tilt our screens, but we normally achieve some kind of path differences using slabs. Like that's the level of variation we can use. So using slabs, when we bring that kind of path difference, then delta x equal to 0 necessarily फिर, I hope you're getting it, delta x equal to 0 फिर necessarily y equal to 0 पे नहीं आएगा, और किधर आ सकता है, और हम वैसे क्वेश्चन करेंगे भी. तो वो जिधर भी डेल्टा x 0 आ रहा है, जिधर भी पाथ डिफरेंस 0 आ रहा है, वो होता है सेंट्रल मैक्सिमा. And I will repeat that point later as well. I'll repeat the same point later as well. Okay. Let me know if you're done writing this. Rather, let me know if you want me to wait while you're writing this. 5-6 line hai. Nobody is saying wait. हो गया लिख के? Okay. Alright. तो अब ये स्क्रीन पे कैसे दिखेगा एक बार देख लो. ठीक है. तो basically, so before you see this diagram, this is the key I have used. I mean, this just means what color represents what. So I've used black for a bright fringe. Again, I've used black for a bright fringe or a maxima, and I've used gray for a dark fringe or a minima. Okay, and we have, sure enough, we have a bright fringe at exactly y equal to 0 on the screen, exactly at the center, exactly opposite the midpoint of the two slits. Okay, you have a central maxima or a bright fringe. And यहाँ पे I've in fact repeated the same point कि note कि central maxima हमेशा y equal to 0 पे होना जरूरी नहीं है, वो ऐसे y पे होगा जहाँ पे delta x 0 है. Okay, so ऐसे y पे होगा जहाँ पे delta x 0 है, जहाँ पे path difference 0 है. That's the definition of a central maxima. But what about the other maxima? So as you can see in this diagram now, इसके आगे 0.5 W अपना फ्रिंज विड्थ है, 0.5 W पे तुम्हें एक मिनिमा मिलेगा, -0.5 W पे भी मिनिमा मिलेगा, and this is going to be called as your first minima. That's going to be called as your first minima. फिर उसके आगे W and -W पे maxima मिलेगा, and that's going to be called as your first maxima above the central maxima. Normally they'll use that entire word, first maxima above the center. So W and -W are your first maximas above or below the center. Accordingly, first minima, second minima 1.5 पे होगा, second maxima 2W पे होगा, तीसरा minima यहाँ पे, तीसरा maxima वहाँ पे. Okay, so as you can see, basically at 0W, 2W, 3W, you have maximas, and at 0.5W, 1.5W, 2.5W, you have minimas. कोई भी दो मैक्सिमास के बीच में तुम देख सकते हो कैसे path fringe distance, the width of a maxima is always W, है ना? So the distance between two maximas is W, and the distance between two minimas is also W. Okay. The reason this is actually called fringe width, if you look at this fringe, ये यहाँ पे bright होगा, intensity गायब कहाँ पे होगा? Minimas पे. So when you look at this fringe, no, इस fringe का size यहाँ से यहाँ दिखता है. ठीक है, that first bright fringe का size तुम्हें अगर देखोगे, it will seem like it's from 0.5W to 1.5W. So 0.5W से 1.5W, your fringe width is going to be W. Okay, so that's how it basically looks on a screen. Couple of points just I would want to mention. So delta X we know is dy by capital D. Delta X is dy by capital D. You can also remember delta X in one more form if you know your fringe width, and that is small d by capital D is lambda by W. कहाँ से आ रहा है? ये वो उसी इक्वेशन को रीअरेंज करके आ रहा है. W is d lambda by D को ही रीअरेंज करके आ रहा है. ठीक है, तो क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई किया है, तो स्मॉल d by capital D is lambda by W. ठीक है, I hope you can see that. तो वहां से you also get delta X in terms of Y and W. So delta X is Y by W lambda. Okay, that could also, I mean, of course you don't need to remember, you can, वो fringe width का ही equation से आता है, but this could also be useful. So wherever Y is integral multiple of lambda, delta X is an wherever Y is an integral multiple of W, delta X is an integral multiple of lambda. Wherever Y by W is n, delta X is n lambda. So you get constructive interferences. And wherever Y by W is n.5, delta X is n.5 lambda. So there you get destructive interferences. Last thing I'd also say is angular position. Sometimes if they ask you the angular position of a maxima, instead of asking you the y coordinate, कई बार वो एंगल पूछ सकते हैं, किस एंगल पे तीसरा मिनिमा लाई करता है. तो एंगल कैसे निकालेंगे? थीटा निकालने के जगह तुम tan थीटा निकाल दो, because the angles are small, theta and tan theta are roughly the same. तो थीटा निकालने की जगह tan थीटा निकाल दो. Tan theta is going to be y by capital D. So that's it. If you find y by capital D, you find the angle. Find y by capital D, you find the angle. So for instance, constructive interference किन angles पे बनता है? We know constructive interference takes place at n capital D lambda by small d. But वहां से capital D divide कर लो, y से capital D divide कर लो, तो capital D गायब हो जाएगा. So at n lambda by small d, you have constructive interference. Similarly, at n.5 lambda by small d, you have destructive interference. Notice it's the same formula as we have seen for y, बस फर्क क्या है? capital D नहीं है. Y by capital D is the angle. Capital D को उधर नीचे left hand side पे ले लो, and you will accordingly get the values at which you will get the angles at which you have constructive interference. Okay, so that's angular position for you. If the question should refer to that, angular position is y by capital D. Tan theta use कर लो. Similarly, if somebody asks angular separation between consecutive bright fringes, ये दो ब्राइट फ्रिंजेस के बीच में क्या एंगल है, ऐसा अगर सवाल है, दो ब्राइट फ्रिंजेस के बीच में क्या एंगल है, तो वैसे ही बात हो गया वापस. एंगल इज ऑलमोस्ट लाइक आर्क लेंथ बाय रेडियस. आर्क लेंथ इज रफली W, रेडियस इज D, है ना. वहां पे y by D क्या था, यहाँ पे W by D करेंगे, वैसे ही बात है. सो डिफरेंस के लिए W by D कर लो. Delta theta is W by D, and W, the distance between two bright fringes along the y-axis, is D lambda by D. So capital D कट जाता है, and you're left with lambda by small d. This is your angular fringe width. So it's basically fringe width divided by capital D. So just lambda by small d. Okay. So these are all the points, and that's in a way the basic theory of YDSE. Let's do a question now. Okay. Let me know if you have any doubts before we see the question. Anyone still writing? Chalo, एक question कर लो. Try this question. So when light of wavelength 500 nanometers passes through slits at a separation of 2 millimeters and lands on a screen 6 millimeters away, ठीक है, वेवलेंथ दिया है, स्लिट सेपरेशन दिया है, स्क्रीन का डिस्टेंस दिया है, फाइंड द फॉलोइंग. Find the fringe width. That should be simple. Find the location of the third bright fringe above the central maxima. Location मतलब y coordinate बता दो. Find the location of the second dark fringe below the central maxima. वो भी easy होना चाहिए. Then the number of bright fringes formed on a 120 millimeter long screen. वो भी easy होना चाहिए. Okay. And फिर थोड़ा एक अलग से अच्छा question. Find the intensity of light at y equal to 0.5 millimeters if the intensity through each source is I naught. Please try this. Take around 5 minutes. 1 to 4 तो होना ही चाहिए. Yes, 6 meters. Capital D is 6 meters. Screen का distance meters में होगा. There's no mistake, okay, in any of the values. All units are intentional. Wavelength normally 100 nanometers के form में होगा. Small d millimeters में usually होगा. Capital D meters में होगा. 1 2 3 4 1 to 3 का आंसर्स मिलीमीटर्स में दे दो. You find 1 to 3 in millimeters. Let me know हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है. Stuck. You need some formula. Fringe width is capital D lambda by D is one of the formulas you would need. And this other one that we saw earlier, this could be another one that you need. And for delta phi, we would need delta x, and delta x is dy by capital D. So this is a bunch of things you can use. Please try kar lo. You want 2 more minutes? In the fifth part, find the intensity through each slit. Technically, each slit is I naught. But ठीक है, yeah. Through each slit is I naught. You can also visualize the slits to be like two sources. But this will seem better. Yes, Shubham. So I'm guessing at least first four to हो गया, है ना? I give you guys 5 minutes. At least first four मैं एक बार discuss कर लेता हूँ. You can cross check your answers, and those who feel सब सही है, you can continue solving even the fifth one. देखो क्या है? These are the values given in the question. The lambda is 500 nanometers, and if I write that in meters, 100 into 10 to the power minus 9 would become 10 to the power minus 2. So 500 nanometers actually 5 10 to the power minus 7 meters. That's lambda. Okay, visible light is between 400 to 700 nanometers. So typically you are going to get these kind of values normally. Capital D is 6 meters. Small d is 2 millimeters. So 2 into 10 power minus 3. Fringe width के लिए formula लगा लो. सब कुछ मैं SI units में निकालने जा रहा हूँ. Capital D is 6. Lambda is 5 to the power 10 power minus 7. And small d is 2 to the power 10 power minus 3. 2 into 10 to the power minus 3. Over 5 into 10 to the power minus 7. So 30 by 2 is 15. 15 into 10 to the power minus 4 meters. Okay, 15 into 10 to the power minus 4 meters. You can borrow one power over there and make it 1.5. And ये रह जाएगा 10 power minus 3 meters. So 1.5 millimeters is W. Okay, 1.5 millimeters is W. Fringe width is 1.5 millimeters. इसके आगे location of the, I believe it was the third maxima above the center. So if CM, if that's your central maxima, as you start counting maxima 1, maxima 2, and maxima number 3, that's your third bright fringe. So 1W, 2W, 3W पे तीसरा bright fringe बनेगा. So location of the third bright fringe is 3W. First is at 1W, next is at 2W, last one is at 3W. All right, so 3y equal to 3W पे तीसरा bright fringe बनेगा. So once you get the fringe width, so simple. W is 1.5, so at 4.5 millimeters, you get the third maximum. Similarly, once you have W, you know where all the minimas lie. 0.5 W pe minima. In fact, right now I want the second minima below the central maxima. So I'm not looking at the ones above the central maxima, I'm looking at the ones below the central maxima. This is y equal to 0. So y equal to minus 0.5 W pe first minima आएगा below the central, and y equal to minus 0.5 W पे second minima आएगा. पहले वाला 0.5 पे 0.5 पे, दूसरा वाला 1.5. So minus 1.5 W is the y coordinate of the second minima. Plug in the value of W. So you have 1.5 into 1.5. That is minus 2.25 millimeters. This is where your second minima is going to lie. So that's the answer to the first three. I hope you guys got that. Let me know if you are getting it all this while. Fourth one, number of bright fringes on a screen. All right, the number of fringes formed on a screen is like asking, if I tell you, by the way, if this question seems difficult at first, make your life simpler. Imagine कि मेरा screen 2 मीटर लंबा है और मेरा fringe width 1 meter है, मान लो. तो how many fringes will I see? If my screen is 2 meters wide and I have fringes or lines 1 meter wide, how many lines will fit on the screen? What's the answer? 2 मीटर वाइड पेज पे तुम 1 मीटर के गैप में लाइंस ड्रॉ करोगे, कितने लाइंस इस पेज में फिट होंगे? तो इसमें क्या होता है ना, most students, I mean, most students get कि it should be 2. Sometimes certain students feel it should not be 2, but it could be 1 or it could be 3. And this is why sometimes students feel it could be 1 or it could be 3. They're like, मान लो एक लाइन तुमने एकदम बीच से लिया, ये 1 मीटर स्पेस के स्पेसिंग पे दूसरा लाइन है, ये 1 मीटर के स्पेसिंग पे तीसरा लाइन है ना. सो इन दिस सिचुएशन दे वंडर कि अरे सर अब 3 लाइन गिने या 1 लाइन गिने या 2 लाइन गिने. The answer is it's still 2, it still counts as 2, because then in this odd situation, इसी odd situation में जिसमें थोड़ा confusion हो सकता है, what you can actually say in this odd situation is there is exactly 1 line inside the page. This line is at the boundary. You've probably learned solid state by now in chemistry. This line is on the boundary, right? So half of it is in, half of it is out. So उसके कारण half, उसके कारण half. क्या आंसर आता है? 1 plus half 2 lines. और वो इसी weird orientation में थोड़ा ऐसा confusing हो सकता है, but उसमें भी if you apply proper logical idea of dividing the line into 2 parts, you'll get half plus half, 1 plus half, you'll get 2 lines inside this. On the other hand, अगर मैं पेज थोड़ा भी नीचे शिफ्ट करूंगा, it becomes more obvious. और कोई भी ओरिएंटेशन में साफ साफ दिखता है कि 2 ही लाइन फिट होगा. So if you have a screen of size 2 meters and you have lines 1 meter wide, lines with a spacing of 1 meter, how many lines will fit on that screen? Screen size by line का spacing. So 2 by 1, 2. Simple division का idea लगाना है, overthinking नहीं करना है. So back to my question, number of bright fringes formed on the screen will be screen length by fringe width. That is the formula you use. How many fringes are on the screen? Division. Screen का कितना size था? 120 millimeters. कितने portion में divide करना था? Fringe widths were 1.5 millimeters wide. तो कितने fringes आ जाएंगे? 120 millimeters by 1.5, 80 millimeters. That will be your answer. ज़्यादा सोचने का जरूरत नहीं है. You don't think it should be 81 or anything. Just follow this division. Did you guys get this idea? You got it? Okay. Then next is delta x is 4 में डाउट नहीं ना किसी को, सबको आ गया? लास्ट वाला delta x, sorry, लास्ट वाले में when the particular y coordinate was what was that, 0.5 millimeters, तब वहां पे क्या इंटेंसिटी होगा? Alright, so when y is 0.5 millimeters, वहां पे क्या इंटेंसिटी होगा? So if delta x is d sin theta, यानी कि delta x is dy by capital D, यानी कि delta x is y lambda by, अच्छा, this was, remember, this is the other form in which I wrote d by capital D. We can write that as y lambda by w. ठीक है? If we use the second one, because especially since we have found w, this one would be useful. तो fringe width का formula से small d by capital D को मैंने y by w से lambda by w से replace किया. ये फॉर्मूला थोड़ा यूजफुल रहेगा क्योंकि मुझे पता है y 0.5 मिलीमीटर है और मुझे पता है w 1.5 मिलीमीटर है. तो यहाँ से अच्छे से आ जाएगा कि डेल्टा एक्स लैम्डा बाई 3 है. One of the main reasons I did this was, instead of using this, ये भी तुम निकाल सकते हो, तुम इससे तुम exact डेल्टा एक्स मिलीमीटर में निकाल दोगे, but then उसके बाद you again need to see what it is in comparison to lambda. You'll have to again divide that by lambda to know कि what is it in comparison to lambda. फिलहाल using this form, I exactly got this as lambda by 3. You may have got this as 500 by 3 nanometer. ठीक है? तो वहां से आएगा डेल्टा एक्स इज लैम्डा बाई 3 लैम्डा के जगह 2 पाई डाल दो, या इसको 2 पाई बाय लैम्डा से मल्टीप्लाई कर लो, सेम चीज, तो you'll get delta phi as 2 pi by 3. In fact, we did this earlier today. This was one of the homework questions. When delta x is lambda by 3, what is the resultant intensity? So it's going to be 4 I naught cos square, phase difference by 2. 2 pi by 3 by 2 is pi by 3, and cos square 60 is cos 60 is half, cos square 60 is 1 by 4. इसका आंसर आता है I naught. तो वहां से आएगा कि resultant intensity in this situation is I naught. समझ में आया? Okay, we won't extend for long, but do acknowledge if you understood this or if there's any doubt in this. So let me know. All clear? Okay, great. Anyone still wants to copy? Quickly say wait. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Moving on. I don't want to extend beyond the time I'd committed. So it's at still 7:15. I understand today is supposed to be your holiday, so I won't go beyond 7:15. Therefore, I'll give you more. I'll give you homework questions. So, like a couple of things to try at home. Okay. So just I'll teach a little bit of theory. कैसे variations आ सकते हैं YDSE का, ठीक है? And then you can try at home. So like one variation is YDSE में ये लोग slabs डाल देंगे. तो अगर YDSE में slabs डाल दिया, okay, तो पहले तो already because of the location of Y, because Y is not symmetric, is not symmetrically positioned with respect to the slits, there is already a path difference. And that was something we have already defined and derived as XL minus XU equal to dy by capital T. That is already the path difference based on the Y coordinate of the particular point on the screen. On top of that, if I take a slab and I start placing slabs in front of these slits, okay, let's say I place a slab in front of the upper slit. So any slab in front of the upper slit, remember a slab is like a hurdle and that increases the path length. It's like a bonus for whoever's going through the slab. So it increases the path length for that ray. It increases the path length by how much? Mu minus 1 t. Okay, it increases the path length by mu minus 1 t. So a slab in front of the upper slit will increase upper slit ka length by mu minus 1 t. Okay, and a slab in front of the lower slit will increase lower slit wala path length, XL wala length, by mu minus 1 t. Now filal, I have labeled this slab in front of the upper slit as a slab having thickness T1, refractive index mu1, and correspondingly I've taken T2 and mu2 for a slab in front of the lower slit. So now bear in mind, इसलिए XL minus XU बहुत important था. When I want to write the path difference at that point, I need to remember कि what I'm writing is XL minus XU. And as I try to write XL minus XU, already we know by geometric lengths, यहाँ पे dy by capital T already है. Geometry के कारण, है ना, दोनों लाइन का लेंथ बराबर नहीं है, तो वो फर्क XL minus XU dy by capital T आता है. Works in all cases. फिर लोअर वाला स्लैब, लोअर वाला रे एक स्लैब के थ्रू पास कर रहा था, जिसके कारण एक्सेल बढ़ गया. कितने से बढ़ गया वो इधर डाल दो. कितने से बढ़ गया लोअर रे? mu2 minus 1 t2 से बढ़ गया. तो उसके कारण यहाँ पे नीचे तुम mu2 minus 1 t2 ये डाल दो. ठीक है, लोअर रे पास थ्रू स्लैब, इसके कारण लोअर रे का साइज बढ़ गया. सिमिलरली द अपर रे आल्सो passes through a slab. अपर रे passes through a slab, जिसके कारण अपर रे का लेंथ बढ़ता है. बट सिंस आई एम फाइंडिंग XL minus XU, any increase in XU will have to be subtracted. तो अपर स्लैब के कारण ये जो पाथ डिफरेंस है लोअर माइनस अपर वो कम हो जाता है. तो आप टू सब्ट्रैक्ट mu1 minus 1 t1. Got it? So as I find delta x, there is already the d sin theta wala aspect. Then there is lower a के कारण mu2 minus 1 t2, and then there is upper a के कारण minus mu1 minus 1 t1. upper a वाला subtract करना है, lower a वाला add. Any doubt in this? इस पे क्वेश्चन है. हर वेरिएशन के लिए we'll try a question to understand it better. And I'll give that question for homework. So you can try it out, and then we can use the class time tomorrow to discuss the question. So you can try it at your own pace. We'll discuss the question. Yes, dy by capital D is the geometric path difference. ये y के location के कारण आता है, क्योंकि y symmetrically located नहीं होता है. These lines are of different lengths, right? So the lower length and the upper length is different. By how much? वही पूरा derivation था YDSC का. The difference is dy by capital D, d sin theta, dy by capital D. So that's the geometric part difference. उसके ऊपर you are having some extra part differences due to these slabs. तो जो lower slab के लिए है उसको जोड़ दो. So keep remembering YDSC, everything is XL minus XU. Remember it that way. वो याद करोगे तो you will automatically add the extra difference due to the lower slab, and you will subtract the distance due to the upper slab. Is that clear? Okay. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, there's no doubt in that, I would say attempt question 20 at home. Try to not look at, just try to not look at the solution. Attempt question 20 at home. I think in the drive, I believe if you look at the notes in the drive, I believe there are 220s, light waves. No, there aren't 220s. It's YDSE, YYDSE. Either have I written YOSE anywhere? That's D, okay, that's D, please. Young's double slit experiment. Capital D, capital S, E. I haven't given HCV homework yet. No, I haven't given HCV homework yet. Okay. In fact, we have these lectures very close to each other, back to back. So it seems like I could only maybe give tomorrow. कल थोड़ा दे देता हूँ. आज हुआ है, कल हो जाएगा YDSC, तो कल शाम को दे देता हूँ. इस एक बार एक सेकंड before you guys leave, एक सेकंड. Is there any relationship between the shift that we did in? No, there's no relationship between the. There is no relationship between the shift we did in geometrical optics and path difference due to a slab. No, there's no relation. वो shift एक actual shift है. That shift we saw due to a slab in ray optics. That was an actual visual geometrical thing. The ray shifted sideways, and accordingly the location of the image also actually shifted. I'm not drawing the exact diagram, but that was purely geometrical. Here we are looking at the phase aspect, which has only been introduced now over the last 2-3 chapters. Hey guys, wait, hold on, एक second, guys, don't leave, एक second, don't leave, don't leave, don't leave, don't leave, don't leave, don't leave. जिसको ये पेज देखना था हो गया, and one of you saying, sir, the formula is the same, right? As the formula is, I think that's just oh, that's interesting that the formula is the same. But that's just coincidence. They don't have a connection with each other, and they get derived into very different ways. It's interesting that the formula is the same, but connection. Okay. So before you leave, एक बार ये बस सवाल पढ़ लेता हूँ. तुम एक पेज 20 पे जो सवाल है वो कर लो. इसमें light of wavelength तो same values हैं. Just stay with me. Light of wavelength 500 nanometers passes through two slits at a separation of 2 millimeters, lands on a screen 6 meters away. So same values. I'm giving the same values so you can compare what really changes. ये scene था. Okay, this was the scene. Now a slab of thickness 200 nanometers and mu equal to 2 is placed in front of the upper slit, and another slab of 600 nanometers mu equal to 4 is in front of the lower slit. तो अभी slabs को add किया है. Okay, now suddenly we add slabs, जिसके कारण the location of the central maxima is going to change. Okay, the central maxima is not going to be at the same place. So I want you to find the location of the central maxima. Remember, the central maxima is not the one closest to y equal to 0. Central maxima is the one where path difference is 0. So think through this question, solve this, and find the location of the central maxima. And then also find the number of bright fringes that cross the central line. Vase also find the number of bright fringes that cross the central line. कब cross करेगा? पहले कुछ सीन था, फिर तुमने ये दोनों स्लैब्स डाला. ये स्लैब्स डालने के कारण ये जो फ्रिंजेस हैं, they are going to move either up or down. Okay, you will come to know as you solve the question. So based on how they move, you need to find how many bright fringes cross the central line. Okay, so think and try this at home. And yeah, I think let's try that at home, and also try this theoretical question. Okay, that's going to be page 24. If you look at your notes, there are 2 page 24s. So there'll be one where there's just a question, and there'll be one where there's a big answer. To try quickly, don't see the answer, just see the question. So page 24 पे question simple है. तुम सोचो, when white light is used in a YDSC experiment, what color is the central maxima, and what will be the color seen right next to it? What color is the central maxima? What will be the color seen right next to it? So 2 questions for you to try. Okay, we're going to meet tomorrow, 24 and 20. Is that clear? Yes, Apurva. I would say HCV is enough for JEE Advanced as well on this chapter. It's a very simple conceptual chapter. Advanced के लिए भी काफी है. ये YDSC derivation अगर तुम्हें समझ में आ गया, path difference, optical path difference अगर समझ में आ गया, then you can really do anything. And HCV has given enough variations, थोड़ा geometry वगैरह, reflection वगैरह, enough variation दिया है. उसके question से पूरा scene as such समझ में आ जाता है. Okay. Let's try these at home. Bye bye. Anyone else has anything to ask? किसी को कुछ last time कुछ extra doubt to start? Are you still here? It doesn't look like you're here. Okay, never mind. Anyone else any other doubts? You can Feel free to ask, or otherwise, see you. Bye. Enjoy your holiday. Whatever's left of it. Chalo, bye.